Hello, you're listening to WBCR 90.3 FM Beloit. Welcome to Beloit Circus Jams, hosted by yours truly, Julianna. I hope you enjoyed this week's microdose of the chaos that is my friends and their music tastes. And this week we have a producer's week, which means you're going to have Paloma and Allison up here to talk about musical songs. Alright, so Paloma, you've helped me create this list.
Yes.
So, what do you want to tell our audience? What should they expect tonight?
Chaos.
Yes, we are doing songs from musicals that are sung by the ensemble. So we're not focusing on just the main cast. We wanted to hear lots of voices.
Yes.
Which it's hard to find ensemble songs from musicals that aren't 5 minutes long.
Yeah. Looking at you, West Side Story.
Yeah, tell them. So the first song we have up for tonight, and Allison's personal favorite, is from Hamilton, and it's called Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Our Story. Allison, you want to come here and talk a little bit about it before we get started?
Okay, hi! So, it's the last song of Hamilton if, you don't have all of the songs memorized, as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, at this point, Hamilton's already died, and this is basically just talking about his legacy through everyone else's eyes, and how the rest of the character's story is end. So.
Spoilers, dude, on live air?
I'm so sorry.
Dude, Hamilton spoilers? You're telling me that guy died?
From a show 4 years ago?
Yeah. Alright, well, here's Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story.
Let me tell you what I wish I'd known when I was young and dreamed of glory. You have no control. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
President Jefferson. I'll give him this. His financial system is a work of genius. I couldn't undo it if I tried. And I tried.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story? President Madison.
He took our country from bankruptcy to prosperity. I hate to admit it, but he doesn't get enough credit for all the credit he gave us.
Who lives, who dies, who tells your story?
Every other founding father story gets told. Every other founding father gets to grow old.
And when you're gone, who remembers your name? Who keeps your flame? Who tells your story? Who tells your story? Who tells your story?
Eliza, I put myself back in the narrative. I stop wasting time on tears. I live another 50 years. It's not enough. I interview every soldier who fought by your side.
She tells our story.
I try to make sense of your thousands of pages of writings. You really do write, but you're running out of time. I rely on Angelica. While she's alive, we tell your story. She is buried in Trinity Church near you. When I needed her most, she was right on time. And I'm still not through. I ask myself, what would you do if you had more time? The Lord in His kindness, He gives me what you always wanted. He gives me more time. I raise funds in D.C. for the Washington Monument.
She tells my story.
I speak out against slavery. You could have done so much more if you only had time. And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell your story? Oh, can I show you what I'm proudest of?
The orphanage.
I established the first private orphanage in New York City.
The orphanage.
I helped raise hundreds of children. I get to see them growing up.
The orphanage.
I see you, Alexander. I see you every time. And when my time is up, have I done enough? Will they tell your story? Oh, I can't wait to see you again. It's only a matter of time.
Will they tell your story? Who dies, who tells your story? Will they tell your story? Who lives, who dies? Who tells your story?
And that was Who Lives, Who Dies, Who Tells Your Story from Hamilton. Allison, what you gotta tell us about this?
I am ready. I have so many things I could say about Hamilton. I know you won't let me do a whole hour just on Hamilton.
No.
However, I think you should. Anyway.
Next semester, ask me
Is this a
later.
petition?
This is in fact a petition. Ladies and gentlemen, please message the Instagram. Just please give Allison her Hamilton hour. Please and thank you.
They're gonna do it. You're weaponizing the people.
Exactly.
Alright.
Anyway.
Hamilton.
Hamilton.
Dead.
I told Julianna to leave it until the last second, and I'm sure she already knew that.
Mhm.
Because specifically at the end, Eliza has a little gasp moment, which is like a really important part that isn't entirely scripted in the musical, which I find really interesting because it's up to interpretation what the gasp means. Some people have played it like Eliza gets to see like Hamilton again in like the distance. Some people play it she gets to see the audience in the distance, like that her story was told.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun, little different ways to play with legacy, which is the whole theme throughout the whole thing. So it comes out in a really cool way.
Full
at the end.
circle. But it didn't happen in this recording, which is very interesting. This is from the OG Broadway cast.
Whenever I listen
Uh-huh.
to it with like headphones, I can hear it.
Interesting.
It might not come across well enough on the radio show, but it was there. I promise.
Yeah.
How have you guys experienced this song? Because I've just listened to it over and over and over since like 2017. So
As a person who is able to witness Hamilton before it got super popular,
Oh, lucky.
oh,
I don't know,
a
I
major
just-
flex.
yeah, not me with the tote bag from the show. I don't know, I just remember seeing, you know, actually, I'm pretty sure I've seen this show 3 or 4 times. And every time I see it, every time I listen to it, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
It's, Lin-Manuel Miranda is a good writer.
He really is.
I first heard Hamilton on a family road trip out to Arizona, if I'm remembering correctly, and we had nothing better to do, so my mom's like, hey, there's this new musical called Hamilton, and it's historical, so we're going to do this for a history class, because she's homeschooled, and she can tell us what our curriculum is.
Yes.
So we listened to that the whole way, and this is the last song. I was like, oh, finally, it's over! Because I was not a fan of this musical initially. But then I got to watch the recording that's on Disney, and I'm a visual learner, so I found that a lot more compelling, and I was able to focus a lot more on like the actual story and the characters and everything that was happening. And so this song was really fun. I think I cried during this one, just because
This is a big crying song.
Exactly.
We could also just make a whole Hamilton hour. They're just sad songs for Hamilton, but I wouldn't do that to the people.
Actually,
Please
you should.
don't
You should.
do that.
You
I
should.
can't
You
do that to the listeners.
Please don't.
You should.
However, if you tell
Julianna.
Julianna, give me a Hamilton hour.
I've already gotten a message.
Yes! Yes!
Don't be shy.
I'm so proud, whoever you are.
Dox him. Who was it?
Maybe Lila? I don't know, it was a quick...
No, you're so valid
We'll
for
keep you
that.
posted. Should
All
we
right.
move on?
Yes. Whoa. You want to move on from Hamilton?
I don't... Listen, I told you to give me a whole
it
hour.
is already
However,
No, we're chilling.
7:06.
We chilling.
we have
All
a
right.
lot of long ensemble songs to get
Speaking of,
Yeah, we
Our
have a
next
song called Who Will Buy from Oliver, and it's the 1994 company.
Yes.
Paloma, you want to talk a little bit about this one?
yes. Okay, so Oliver was the musical that my high school was going to put on during the year of the pandemic. We never got to do it.
Oh, no! Horrible.
Yeah. But we based a lot of our vocals off of the 1994 version, and I just remember buying the soundtrack on Apple Music just to have it since I couldn't have the performance.
Yeah.
And Who Will Buy, it reminds me of Lin-Manuel Miranda in the sense that there's a lot of overlapping, and it just scratches my brain. But this is in the middle of the musical, for context, when so Oliver has already joined like the giant gaggle of kids and the old man. He's run away from the orphanage. He tried to rob someone with one of the other kids, but he got caught. And then But the old man he was trying to rob actually just took him to his house because he's a nice old man. And Who Will Buy is him looking out the balcony at the street market.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. With that, this is Who Will Buy from Oliver, 1994.
Wonderful morning, such a sky you never did see. Who will buy my sweet red roses? Who will tie it up with a ribbon and put it in a box for me? Strawberries ripe, so I could see it at my leisure. Whenever things go wrong, and I would keep it as a treasure to last my whole life long. Who will buy this wonderful feeling? I'm so high, I swear I could fly. To lose it, so what am I to do to keep the sky so blue? There must be someone who will
That was Who Will Buy from Oliver, the 1994 company. Paloma, take it away.
It's just so fun.
It is. Really is.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know. So before I was able to like watch the Disney version, I would always just imagine this scene in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was really busy, but it was just like the fun kind of busy,
Yeah.
and everyone was like dancing around with like stuff in their arms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like a bustling like town square or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. The vocals were so fun. I was commenting
Yes.
on them, and then the guy like that was like a baritone came in. I was like, "Whoa, perfect timing, my dude."
Yes. Yes.
Very fun. All right. Well, the next musical we have is The Sound of Music, and we chose the song "So Long Farewell." Both of you seen it, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Thoughts?
So Long Farewell is just so fun, but I just have a particular attachment to this musical in general
Real.
because it's one of my comfort musicals,
Uh-huh.
and it's one that I grew up on. It's one that was like one of the first ones that I ever actually like saw.
Mm-hmm.
And for context, it's the movie version. That
Oh
I
yeah.
saw.
Yeah. With Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, we love her. Allison, thoughts?
I've also seen the Julie Andrews one.
Mhm.
That's pretty much all I know about it. I've only seen it a couple times.
Yeah, that's fair.
I know Lin-Manuel Miranda's father likes it.
Coming
Yeah.
with the Lin-Manuel Miranda lore.
Yeah, I can give you Lin-Manuel Miranda lore for almost
What about
any musical.
Allison lore?
I remember singing the Do Re Mi song a lot. growing
Yeah.
up.
Yes.
Not this one so much, but I do really like this one.
Yeah.
Yes.
We had Do Re Mi initially on this list, but we had to take it off because it was 5.5 minutes long, and
Sadness.
we all talk a lot, so we
Yeah.
couldn't have a song that long on here.
Yeah.
All right, and with that, so long, farewell from The Sound of Music.
There's a sad sort of clanging from the clock in the hall, and the bells in the steeple too. And up in the nursery an absurd little bird is popping up to say cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. Regretfully they tell us, but firmly they compel us to say goodbye to you. So long, farewell, our readers say goodnight. I hate to go and leave this pretty sight. So long, farewell, our readers say adieu.
Adieu, adieu, to you and you and you.
So long, farewell, au revoir, our readers say.
I'd like to stay and taste my first champagne.
So long, farewell, our readers say goodbye. I leave and heave a sigh and say goodbye, I'm glad to go. I cannot tell a lie. I flit, I float, I flee, I fly. The sun has gone to bed, and so must I. So long, farewell, auf Wiedersehen, goodbye,
That was So Long, Farewell from The Sound of Music. All right. Any thoughts from you two?
It's just so fun and silly. They're silly little goofy guys.
All siblings. They're just having the time of their lives, just singing in front of a bunch of adults.
Yes.
I will say, I was impressed at how much all of us vividly remembered it suddenly.
I haven't seen it in like 3 years. I
Same.
don't need to.
Yeah, but every time I watch it, I just get so enraptured by it that I forget that it's 3 hours long.
Right? It's
Yeah.
a long musical.
And then I immediately get hit with 1940s Germany.
Yeah, it kind of
because
comes
I
out
keep
of
forgetting.
It comes out of nowhere. Like the last half hour, it's like, so you forgot when and where this takes place, huh? we're gonna give you a nice little reminder here. It's like, oh my God, my silly little guys who were just singing songs. No, my sister and I love this song. You know, being the choir kids that we are, and we'd sing the song a lot. Especially we'd get like my youngest sister Ella to like sing like the part of the little girl in the song. Like, hey, you sing this part and you wait till your entrance, because we were insane. We're like we rehearsed this sort of stuff. We couldn't get our brother to comply with us as easily when he was younger, kind of, but he didn't want to, and so we just sit there and just kind of sing the line, but like haphazardly. And mine, I was like, what's your problem? You aren't committing like the rest of us. So you know,
You always have to commit to the bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
You have to commit to the songs,
Real.
music,
Especially the sound of music. It just...
Yeah.
the sound of music.
yeah,
It's so good. All right. Well, it is 7:19 here in the studio. Allison, would you like to tell us about an event on campus?
Boy, oh boy, will I. So, the posters were a tad late to go out this semester, I believe. But Steele and Bispa are back with their biannual dice hunt. This one takes place Saturday, April 8th in the Poetry Garden, as per usual. There are 2 sessions where you can come and hunt around for Easter eggs with little dice in them. Session 1 is from 12 to 1 p.m., and Session 2 is from 2 to 3 p.m. And come, it's a lot of fun, and after we find all of the Easter eggs, we usually get to do like a trading session after, where you can get all kinds of cool sets. So.
Yeah, you can try to get a full set, you can just get like a randomized set, whatever you want. You can come to both sessions, you can go to one. But yeah, next Saturday, I know a lot of people are working really hard on it, so definitely show up.
Come check it out.
All right. The next song we have up is Seasons of Love from Rent.
Oh. Okay, so this is the opening number. And it's just so cool.
It's iconic.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't seen Rent, but I know this song.
Yes. And so Rosario Dawson is in this. One of the cast members, I forget exactly who it is, but one of the guys, he played one of the main roles in the Flash CW show.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Okay.
he was one of the detectives.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very
But
cool.
anyway, he's very cool in both. Yeah, but so if you haven't seen Rent, it's just about this group of friends trying to survive the New York economy.
The economy.
With their bohemian artistic lifestyles.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ergo why it's called Rent.
Yes.
All right. Sounds fun. All right, so we have Seasons of Love, again, from Rent.
$525,600 minutes, 525,000 moments, oh dear. 525,600 minutes. How do you measure a year? In daylights, in sunsets, in midnights, in cups of coffee, in inches, in miles, and laughter and strife. In 525,600 minutes, how do you measure a year in the life? How about love? How about love? How about love? the way that she does.
It's time now to sing out, though the story never ends. Let's celebrate, remember a year in the life of friends. Remember love, love.
Seasons of Love from Rent. I have been informed by my good friend Poppy that this song is the opening of the movie. Like, they put it in the movie as the first song.
Yeah.
But for the actual show, it's the opener of Act 2, which is
Yes.
closer to when a character passes away.
Yes.
And so they're talking about her life before she dies. And that's so cool.
And in the movie, there's they do still have this song around that time, but it's mixed with a few other songs.
Interesting.
And it's so sad, but it's so good.
Musicals are really good at that. They really are like, the only emotion you can feel right now is either sad or joy. And sometimes we make it together, and it's awful. But I love it.
Yeah.
But it's awful.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Speaking of, the next song we have is from Ain't Too Proud, The Life and Times of the Temptations. And we picked the song Papa Was a Rolling Stone Part 1. So this is the one before the second version, which they talk a lot more in.
Yes.
So we wanted to opt for songs that were almost all singing. So yeah, this was the musical that got Paloma and I to be like, whoa, we have a WBCR show.
Yes.
What if we just did a week of musical songs?
Yes, this is the one that started it all.
Yeah. So we texted our group chat with our other producers, Allison and Kale, and we're like, hey guys, what if we already have an entire list for sometime next semester? Because this was over winter break when you and I got to go see it. It was such a good show.
So good.
I love the Temptations, but I didn't realize like how much of a cultural influence they had on the music, and getting to like hear about the history and the dynamics between the group members was so fascinating.
Yeah.
At the end, like the audience was standing for an encore for 10 minutes. We were
Yeah, we were standing and clapping along for 10 minutes.
It didn't feel like a musical. It felt like a concert.
Yes. Which I think was intentional.
Yes.
But also, that might have been because the stage was actually built like a concert hall.
Yeah. It was a fun place. Yeah. Allison, you said you'd also seen this one, right? Ain't Too Proud?
I had seen it in September, and it was a fun experience.
Right?
We did not get a 10-minute encore. However, we weren't that special.
That's fair. All right. Here's Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Part 1 from Ain't Too Proud.
It was the 3rd of September. That day I'll always remember. Yes, I will. 'Cause that was the day that my daddy died. I never got a chance to see him. Never heard nothing but bad things about him. Mama, I'm depending on you to tell me the truth.
Mama just hung her head and said, son,
Papa was a rolling stone. Well, he laid his hat, was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone. Papa was a rolling stone. My son, well now, well, he laid his hat, was his home. And when he died, all he left us was alone.
That was Papa Was a Rolling Stone, Part 1 from Ain't Too Proud.
Yeah.
A quick little 1-minute bop.
Right? It's so good.
Seriously.
It gives you what you need.
Yeah. There's so many things we could talk about.
Right? Part of our problem was that there were too many good songs, because the show has a smaller cast. So Ensemble could be literally any of the songs at that point.
Yeah, and the Temptations themselves are like a small ensemble.
Exactly. So I like that we picked this one, because there's I don't think there's like one true ensemble song where everyone sings.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different moving parts
Yeah.
to it. Because they have a bit with the what was it, the girl band they were performing with?
Supremes.
Yeah, the Supremes. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, which also slap, but
Also slaps.
not the namesake. So we had to pick these songs.
Yes.
Yeah. I think the message we're saying here is to just go listen to the YouTube soundtrack.
It's so
Please!
it's all on like any streaming service you have access to. It's so good. Just listen to the Temptations in general too, because it's also a good band.
They are still around today, by the way.
Yeah.
Not the same people.
Not the same people.
the same ringleader.
Yeah.
He's still alive and kicking.
Yeah.
He's impressive.
Unfortunately, not any of the other originals.
Yeah.
But they're still doing pretty good for themselves.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they're still like touring, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're really cool for that.
Yeah.
All right. The next song we have is Another Day of Sun from La La Land, which
Woo!
is one I advocated for because we had rewatched it recently. I showed it to Allison. I'm like, oh, listen, you're a media studies major. I feel like you need to watch La La Land.
I had not seen it before.
Thoughts?
I think it's a good story.
Mhm.
I think the music is fun. I think it's so pretty to look at in the movie.
So, the cinematography.
The cinematography is so on point. As a film major, I could say. But I did really like this song. I can talk more about it after.
Yeah. Paloma, thoughts before we begin?
La La Land?
Yeah.
Listen, any movie that's set in LA, give it to me.
Real. I think we
I
can
am
talk about
stuck with 2 Californians. Please send help.
Listen. I like to nerd out about LA for a little bit on occasion.
Just as a treat.
Yeah, for me. And this takes place in the movie. This one takes place on like the freeway, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's the opener.
Yeah, it is the opener. And I know that freeway. I've been on it. It's horrifying. Anyway, that's irrelevant. Another Day of Sun from La La Land.
Me to be on that screen and live inside each scene.
Without a nickel to my name, hopped a bus, here I came. I could be brave or just insane, we'll have to see.
Cause maybe in that sleepy town, I'll sit one day, the lights are down, you'll see my face and think how he used to know me.
Behind these veils I'm reaching for the heights and chasing all the lights that shine.
The rhythms in the canyons that'll never fade away. The ballads in the barrooms left by those who came before. They say we gotta want it more, so I bang on every door.
And even when the answer's no, when my money is running low, the dusty mic and neon glow are all I need.
And someday as I sing the song, a small town kid will come along. That'll be the thing to push him on and go.
I'm reaching for the heights and chasing all the lights that shine. They let you down. It's another day to get up off the ground. It's another day. The morning rolls around and it's another day of sun.
that was Another Day of Sun from La La Land, and you gotta end it with the people honking on the freeway because traffic is just so bad.
Yes.
We know this all too well.
We know this all too well.
And I'm here.
Ah, yes, Allison, our lovely producer from the Midwest.
Yes.
So, you guys didn't have to listen to it because the song was playing, but these two fools were like, oh my goodness, LA. It's so pretty sometimes.
Listen.
You guys get to be proud for one song.
For us.
As a treat.
Please. We have to deal with so much pollution and so many people. Sometimes I can say the mountains are pretty.
Yeah.
And the beach is cool. Yeah.
Is the sun pretty? Another day of sun?
There's so much sun in LA. You don't understand. I have to put sunscreen on whenever I go in the car for more than 20 minutes or else I'll get a sunburn.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Very specific struggle. I'm out here in the Midwest and I can be outside for like half an hour and I'm chilling. I'm like, wow, no sunscreen. I'm winning.
Nice.
Look at you go.
Right.
You've come so far.
Right. I was talking to Allison this morning. I was like, yeah, I mean, like, the sun really doesn't bother me when I wake up. I think it's just because I'm used to, like, the LA sun. Because I get the sun right in my face when I wake up. And, like, that happened this morning. And Allison's like, I don't know how you didn't wake up. Horrifying. You know, the sun wakes me up all the time. I'm like, well, it's just the sun.
Yeah.
Another day of sun.
You know, one beam of light hits my face. Awake.
That's fair.
You guys are stronger than me.
Yes.
Yeah. I love this musical, though. It's it focuses on jazz, which is so fun. Yeah. It's
the cinematography.
It's so pretty. The colors, the way they...
This scene is very pretty because it's like the bright sun. Go figure.
Yes. Also, just I mean, beyond the, like, singing soundtrack, like, just the instrumentals.
Yeah.
They're so cool.
They really are.
Very, like, well-made songs.
Yes.
It really is.
Also, just the whole sequence that they have in the movie, for those of you who haven't seen it, like, they get out of their cars and they sort of, like, mime out their own little stories, like, a little bit, and then they do big numbers on the highway, too.
Yeah.
And then at the end, they all just, like, get back into their cars like it never happened. I always love that kind of trope.
As you do. All right.
There's traffic on the 405.
There's always traffic on the 405. All right. Well, it is 7:36 here in the studio, and the next song is a little longer, so I'll do the campus read a little earlier. So Seal is presenting a little movie on April 7th, which is Friday, from 7 to 9 p.m. in the Weisberg Auditorium. They're going to be showing Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. They'll have popcorn, and it's part of their, I think, monthly Friday film flicks, I believe they do. So yeah, I mean, you can just go see a movie for free. It's a good movie. Most of us in my friend group got to watch it. I think we had glowing reviews. People here, what do you think of Puss in Boots?
I've seen it twice now. It's a wonderful film. I enjoyed it very much.
Good to know. Okay, the next song we have is Darkness and Trees from Come From Away. Paloma, take it away.
Okay.
Oh, she's getting ready, boys.
Actually, I think that's all we needed.
Yeah, okay, we're going to start now. No, you go on.
So this musical, Come From Away, is about, so during 9/11, no.
Go on, I'm listening.
So the airspace is completely closed down for United States.
Yeah.
So flights from all over had to land in Newfoundland.
Oh yeah, interesting.
And this is about that.
Oh, sick.
Darkness and Trees is when they're loading people onto the buses to, take them to where they can live for a few days. I will warn you, though, that there's a lot of talking in this one. This musical came out, let me see, like 2017.
Okay, pretty recent.
Yeah, and it's just all the vocals are just really cool, and I eventually got to see it like a lot of months back, or really just like, I don't know, over a year or so.
2022?
Yeah, around there.
Alright, cool.
Yeah.
Alright, hopefully everything should be fixed. So again, Darkness and Trees come from away.
We can see them from the plane. This long line of headlights coming through the darkness.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can take only your carry-on items. Check luggage will remain in the hold.
The captain and flight attendants tell everyone to take their blankets and pillows off the plane.
We grab bottles of water too. No one has any idea where they're taking us.
Darkness and trees.
Please. As we enter the airport, all those car lights are still aimed at us.
We're scared. They're probably scared too.
The people here don't know what to expect off of these planes.
The airport looks like something left over from the Cold War, and Kevin's like,
oh my God, we've gone back in time.
The whole procedure, the soldiers and all the formality, it just makes me really nervous.
There's a giant map on the wall of the airport, and someone has written in red marker, "You are here."
Excuse me, I need to find a phone. I need to call my son.
I'm sorry, the payphones are out of order.
They're all lined up at the airport payphones, so eventually we put an out-of-order sign on them, just so we can get people on the buses.
11:48 p.m. Buses and drivers are now taking passengers to shelters, not just in Gander, but also to Campbell, Appleton, and farther communities of Lewisport, Norris Arm, and Glenwood.
Our bus sits there forever.
While all the others leave. Finally, this other passenger gets on?
This guy from the Middle East.
Someone says he got questioned.
Someone says he got searched.
And now, he's on our bus.
I tried to interview the Red Cross, the Salvation Army, but they got more important things to do than to talk to me. That's when I see them, the plain people through the bus windows. The terror on their faces. They have no idea where they're going.
They take me and my crew in a separate van, and I'm looking out the window trying to see where we are, but it is pitch dark. Now, I have flown over this area hundreds and hundreds of times, and it is just darkness. Hardly any lights anywhere. And now here I am. Oh my God. This is just so remote.
Into the darkness. Stars and the sunlight. Look all around us. Nothing but darkness. Out of the window. Into the darkness. Darkness and trees.
every school bus we got is going back and forth all night. Out to the Salvation Army camp, we've delivered passengers from Germany, England, and France. And around 3 in the morning, my bus is designated to take all these African people out there.
My family and I tried to see out the bus windows. No one tells us where we are going.
Silence comes on the bus. We get outside the gander and you could hear a pin drop.
My wife and daughter are scared. They ask me what is happening, and I do not know.
Behind me, this big man comes up to me, and he says in this low voice, "What's that now?"
That was Darkness and Trees from Come From Away. Paloma, take it away.
Yeah. So this musical just really took the time to just capture everyone's perspectives. Let's see, there were, I mean, obviously there was like the voices of the main cast, but let's see, one of them is one of the pilots.
Oh, okay.
Another one is a woman from Texas. Another one is a woman from New York who has a son who is a firefighter.
Whoa.
Yeah. One of, let's see, there's another who's an Englishman. And there is just, like, there's buses filled with people from, like, all over. Because the U.S. airspace was completely closed.
Yeah.
In Darkness and Trees Part 2, they get a little bit more into, like, all of the, like, the people with, how they're, like, feeling as they're just, like, getting carted away. Because they just learned, like, from the planes a few hours ago, because people had phones and there was a radio, that 9/11 happened.
Yeah.
So everyone's still panicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just a really scary situation for everyone. But yeah, but Come From Away is mostly about who comes to this tiny town called Gander. And I wish I could have played some of the other songs, but they're listed as explicit. But yeah, it's really sad, but it's also just a really fun musical.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you. The next song we have up is "Do You Hear the People Sing" from Les Miserables. And we got to watch it with some of our friends this weekend. Allison, do you want to talk a little bit about your experience watching Les Mis?
Okay, so I had seen the musical on stage before, but I hadn't seen the actual movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a very recent addition to my knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
And I really thought there were like cool parallels between what they did on stage and what they did in the movie, and there were also a lot of differences too.
Yeah.
I could talk for hours and hours, but I don't need a whole Les Mis episode. I need a Hamilton episode. Yeah, this was a really good closer to the movie, I think.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I picked the version from the 2020 Les Mis cast, which they did for the 35th anniversary of Les Miserables. I just like the vocals in this one more, but we can talk about the movie afterwards. So again, this is Do You Hear the People Sing from Les Miserables.
Do you hear the people sing, singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you join in our crusade? Who will be strong and stand with me? Beyond the barricade, is there a world you long to see? Then join in the fight that will give you the right to be free. Do you hear the people sing, singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes. Will you give all you can give so that our banner may advance? Some will fall and some will live. Will you stand up and take your chance? The blood of the martyrs, the wars, the meadows, the front. Do you hear the people sing, singing the song of angry men? It is the music of a people who will not be slaves again. When the beating of your heart echoes the beating of the drums, there is a life about to start when tomorrow comes.
That was Do You Hear the People Sing, live from Les Mis. This is such a fun song. It happens at the end and in the middle, right before the climactic war that happens. So this is the one before the war starts, where they're preparing themselves, they're amping themselves up to get ready to fight the French soldiers. So, you kind of need, like, the camaraderie that the song gives you. And then it is played again in the movie and at the end of the musical. At the end, once all the characters have passed, and you see them singing this song as they're dreaming about, like, a potential better future for France. And it's so cool. This has been one of the musicals I've always had a soft spot for because I like musicals that are based in history. I feel like I'm able to connect with them a lot faster than I can with other musicals. I think it's why I liked Hamilton the second time around when I got to watch it, because it was based in, actual events and characters. So yeah, this such a fun one.
Tell me you're a history major without telling me you're a history major.
Listen. I'm switching that up. Anyways. No, Les Mis is just such a fun musical. There's so many different dynamics that the characters have and different vocal tones, and we especially saw that with the movie because the dynamic between Javert's voice and Jean Valjean and how they have their, like, you can tell they're fighting just based on the words they spit at each other while they're singing, and versus the dynamic between Eponine and Marius and, what's her name, Cosette. And how those three interact with each other. Mm-hmm. It's so fun. And you can just tell a lot about the musical just from hearing the notes and how there's different themes for each character or each idea.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I could talk about Les Mis for so long.
You are so valid. I will note the 2019 one that you briefly showed me was more of a concert version, so they got to go off with the singing a lot more than before.
They had staged vocals, so they were able to... with the movie, it was performed live while they were acting, so there were certain things they couldn't do while they were singing because they were acting, so it was very fun.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of range.
Yeah. Paloma, do you know a lot about Les Mis?
Let's see, I watched the musical when I was young. I think my dad showed me.
Yeah.
And I don't really remember all that much about it,
That's fair.
except for Hugh Jackman and Eddie Redmayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They both do so well in the movie.
Yeah. And I think I remember that this song in the movie was when there was like a tank in front of them or something.
Oh, it's a barricade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think some cannons too.
Yeah.
You know,
A very
mid
climactic
19th
moment.
century version of tanks.
Yes, yes.
That's fair. Yeah, I feel like this is one of the musicals that like your parents watch and you're like allowed to watch with them because they don't think it's something you'd be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You speaking from experience?
And then
Listen.
little do they know.
Little do they know, this has become my favorite musical. No, I remember when the awards were coming out for the 2012 movie version, and like Anne Hathaway won an award, I believe, for her performance, which as she should, she did wonderfully. Which was I think why my mom wanted to watch it. It could have been for other reasons. I think she also liked Les Mis. A lot of people in my family just like the musical. It's fun, you know. You get to talk about bashing in the French government. You know, always a win. So, yes. And the last song we have up for us tonight is America from West Side Story.
Yes.
We had a couple songs we could switch between, but I mean, this one felt quintessential. There was the Jet song, but that's pretty biased towards one of the groups, and I feel like this is a nice song that talks about like the themes of the musical better.
Yeah. It's also just a bit more fun in
It is
general.
fun. Yeah.
Mostly because of the people who are singing it.
Exactly.
It's also a little bit of a social commentary, so
It
who
is.
doesn't love that?
Exactly. We love some social commentary in our musicals.
Yeah. This is the other musical that I grew up listening and watching to, and it's also just one of my comfort musicals. And
Understandable.
See, growing up as a young child in New York with other theater people, sometimes the question, especially if one of us was wearing like a West Side Story shirt, one of us would say, "Jets or sharks?"
As you do.
Yeah.
I would like to note this is the more recent version from the movie that like just came out.
Yeah, the one on Disney. Yeah.
And it has Ariana DeBose in it. She's in Hamilton. That's not the only reason I wanted to shout her out. She's just also very, very talented.
Some more Hamilton lore from Allison.
Just so you're aware who's singing and you know how awesome they are.
Yep. All right, America from West Side Story.
Puerto Rico, you lovely island, island of tropical breezes. Always the pineapples growing, always the coffee blossoms blowing, and the money owing, and the babies crying, and the people trying. I like the island Manhattan. I know you do. Smoke on your pipe and put that in. I like to be in America. Okay, by me in America. Everything free in America.
For a small fee in America.
Buying on credit is so nice.
One look at us and they charge twice.
I have my own washing machine.
What do you have though to keep clean?
Skyscrapers bloom in America. Cadillacs zoom in America. Industry boom in America.
12 in a room in America.
Lots of new housing with more space.
Lots of them slamming in our face.
I'll get a terrace apartment.
Better get rid of your accent.
Life can be bright in America.
If you can fight in America.
Life is alright in America.
If you're all white in America. you stay on your own side.
Free to do anything you choose.
Free to wait tables and shine shoes. Everywhere crime in America, organized crime in America, terrible time in America.
You forget I'm in America.
I think I go back to San Juan.
I know about you can get on. Bye-bye.
Everyone there will give big cheer.
Hey! Everyone there would have moved here.
That was America from West Side Story. Paloma, got a little bit more to tell us about?
Yeah, so, for those of you who have not interacted with this musical in any way, most of this song is just a dance-off between the characters, and it's glorious.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the movie, this is the newer movie version, not the older one. But like, the amount of lore that I have about people from the older version of the movie, it's crazy.
It was a wild cast. It was something else.
Yeah.
Allison, do you have a little bit you want to talk about Ariana DeBose for? I know you mentioned her earlier.
I don't need to talk more about Ariana.
Come on, we have the time. We have the budget.
Yeah.
Okay, so if people heard me say that she was in Hamilton and were like, who is she? She wasn't a named character. She was one of the extras, but she had this sort of like, I don't know if it was a confirmed role or just like named by fan members. And Lin-Manuel Miranda just picked it up. But she's often referred to as the Bullet because she's the one who traces the bullet as it flies across stage whenever there's like a bullet on screen. They do it in Stay Alive when like one goes by Hamilton and misses, which is like foreshadowing later whenever it's his little monologue right before he gets shot. And she traces the bullet all the way to him and everybody pulls back at her.
Hamilton dies?
Spoiler alert, sorry about that.
Whoa!
Gotta bring it full circle.
And I haven't seen this version of West Side Story, so I don't know what she's like in it, but I'm sure she's good.
Oh, she did so good.
I didn't hear good things about the quality of the movie in general, but I did hear good things about the cast.
Yes, the cast did wonderful. I loved how it looked. Besides the controversy it had, it was a good movie. Yeah, I was introduced to West Side Story from my cousin one time because I think she knew I was, like, my sister and I had, like, read about Romeo and Juliet because we were in, like, Shakespeare productions, and so she was like, oh, West Side Story is very similar. She did not tell us it was, like, set in 50s New York, and there was a lot more social commentary there than, like, a 7-year-old me was prepared for.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Maybe you should have given a small amount more of information.
Just a little bit. All right. Well, thank you everyone so much for listening into this week's episode of Beloit Circus Jams. I thank you for tuning in to tune in next week again at 7 p.m. CST to WBCR 90.3 FM Beloit. Thank you so much for listening in, and I hope you have a good night.